So usually at the start at any meeting, the host or whatever, he has something to impart and explain to the gathering, let's just say, and he's the one who knows something, and the people who have come don't know, and they're trying to get some information or something useful from the host. So that's normal meetings, and that's kind of the ways of the world, really. With knowing and understanding comes a sort of a usefulness. Is this useful for me? And in this particular instance, the host doesn't know anything, and he doesn't have anything really to offer, nor does he have anything to explain or impart. No pieces of wisdom, nothing useful, nothing to help you with your apparent life, and nothing that you can take away from it. That's one part of really what's happening here today, that really nothing is being described, and this is a meeting about nothing, and this is nothing happening, named as this is nothing happening. And that's kind of one part that really what's happening here is the hearing of a voice, or the full-on hearing, and there's a sort of a return to that, a constant return to the inexplicableness of just what's appearing to happen. And that's one part. The other part is really is quite significant in the normal ways of the world, because in meetings, information is imparted from one to another, and this meeting is also saying that there is no other, that there is no one behind the eyes, under the crown of the head, that can attain anything, that can acquire enlightenment, wisdom, liberation, that can hold on to anything in life, and that really already there is no self. And it seems like there can be an imagination, a seeking to find what absence is, to find what liberation is, to seeking the loss of self. And that can be something that can happen, you know, a stumbling upon a non-dual communication appears to happen. It's sort of inexplicable how people are drawn back to it time and time again, and yet also it's sort of you know, it's sort of a kind of a minimal communication. It's not like the most popular on the planet, simply because there's absolutely nothing useful in it. You're not seen as someone that can be fixed or changed or improved. And that, again, that can come back to this idea of usefulness, that, okay, well, there must be something useful in this for me. And yet time and time again, it becomes obvious that really there is nothing useful in this communication for that which loves to acquire, and at the same time drawn back to it. And that's, you could say, a sort of a resonance. It's something beyond the words, because really this is absolutely nothing to do with all those intellectual meanderings, all those wants, needs, desires, whatever is sought after. It's absolutely nothing to do with all the thoughts about, am I getting closer or further away? Am I getting this? Am I? All of those are absolutely just useless. And it's not, the point really is that it's not that you're doing it wrong or not doing it wrong. It's that you're not doing it, that you're not doing the thinking, that you're not doing the seeking, that there's just seeking, thinking, feelings. And that's really all that can be said. And it seems also like that all words are objectified. So every single word that's used can be is seen as a real thing. Even the unreal is seen as a thing called unreal, and that nothing must be a thing then, because that's how words operate. And that's how, when lost in words, it seems that everything is a real thing. And this really is about the dismantling of all words, and in a way the heaviness falls out of all words then, when nothing really is being described. So then the dilemma in a way is that I want to know nothing. I want to know that there's nothing to get. I want to know that there's nothing to understand. I want to know that for myself. But nothing really is nothing, and nothing happens, and that already it's whole and complete as it is, already as whatever is, and it won't be known then as a thing apart then. So what then can be described or named? Well, sitting on a chair, breathing, feelings, sensations, thoughts, and whatever appears to happen, whatever questions are there, they're there to be asked, whatever comes out, that's what this in a way is. It's a gathering, a sharing, and anything that's there to be said, it's there to be said. And so there's no this idea of a wrong question, or I know what he's going to say, so there's no point asking. Well, I don't know what I'm going to say, and you don't know either. So it's just a thought. It's just an idea. So let's see what happens together for the next few hours. And yeah, anything that's there. So, just unmute yourself and jump on in. If you're not comfortable with that, then just put a question in, but otherwise just go for it.
Frank.
Hiya.
I have been wondering about the autonomic nervous system, like responses of the autonomic nervous system. That's what character has. Like in my case, I use the word like turtle effect. Like, for example, here there is like a lot of openness in this kind of meetings, but there's also happening this that the character is like shutting himself like down. This is I give an example this happens to me also. Like 20 years ago, I had small surgical operation, and during the operation there was happening that I was very relaxed, but then I was beginning to like collapse, and I said that, and then they gave me atropine, which is the thing that is there is like this autonomic nervous system works in two ways. That there is this, what is the like brake and the gas, and like in my case there is this brake is like too strong, that when there is like strong things happening, that there is some way like too much openness to the character, then like it is like shutting itself down. Like no, this when I'm explaining, it comes just more and more complicated. But do you get anything from that? But could we just talk a little bit about this autonomic nervous system? That how like every that there is just one, but there is still characters, and this they have different kind of responses.
So without the story right there, that was just given, there's just what's appearing to happen. Now there's the idea then that, oh, but I am doing I'm restraining myself a little bit, or I'm, you know, holding back, I think is what you were saying, or it's not, there's the traits of the character. You see, in a way, what seems to happen is wanting to make certain things then real. There must be certain things that are definitely real. So people then go, okay, well, the character. Now, it appears like there is traits, personality traits, character traits, but that also can be like this idea of, for example, when there's no self, there won't be anyone to try and control things, for example. But there is no self already in there. Okay, so, and nothing real, and nothing that can be kind of tangibly said, okay, well, that part is real. The rest isn't real, but that part is real. There's just what is, or this unfolding, and that includes every single tiny nuance of the character, every single tiny kind of, but in saying but in saying that, that's still jumping into a story about a character and making the character then real. And all really can be said is there's just what is, or what is unfolding, right? But then unfolding gives it a kind of a linear sort of a sequence, right? So because it's whatever the fixed state is anchored in, you know, in a time, and so there's before and after, and there's all the proof then of before, and then there's, you know, it's a linear sequence, but really there is just this isness. So including everything.
Yes, but I mean the reactions of the characters, they stay the same still. Like in your case, there was this like what is it? No, you used to be like interviewer for the speakers, and now you are the speaker. But the like reactions, like with this autonomic nervous system, how it works, they still stay the same, like before and after. Would you say? So,
no change, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. You see, that's the killer, like, in a way, because it is the. Do you mean do you mean to tell me that it's exactly the same, everything, that it was always that? And but then of course there's the imagination, but it must be, come on, it must be slightly different. It can't be the awkwardness, it can't be shyness, it can't be X and Y. It has to be better. No, exactly the same. Nothing happens. Nothing. So it's already the case. In every tiny inch. Now, there are stories of people who say, well, X and Y trait fell away, or but for whom would they fall away for? You see, if there's already no one in there operating the system, that then means nothing changes. Nothing at all changes. And so then, for example, there might be an idea where there wouldn't be any thoughts about wanting things to be better, or for the character to be different, or whatever else. And but there's no one wanting the character to be different either. That's just something that's happening. Like, there's not one part then of this that's suddenly explainable. You know, there's not one part that, okay, right, well, I know that part's a mystery, but certainly this part is explainable. Yeah. There isn't a part that's explainable.
Yeah, like, I mean, like at this very moment, there is like this like unfolding, like this openness here when we share this thing. But at the same time, there is this folding with the character, like when things are like somehow too strong. So
folding. What do you mean? What do you mean folding?
Folding, like my eyes are getting closed because like too much light, or like it's like there's like too much intensity for the body mind, for the character in the way. So at the same time there is this openness and relaxation, but also this, and this is I'm just where what I try to get, that this is just what happens to character, and this is just what's happening.
Well, yeah, you see in the naming of it, then it makes that openness and relaxation is that's bang on. That's in the positive corner, and the too muchness.
But naming, I think it's just for the communication, that you have to use some naming for the communication.
I totally get that. I totally get that. But what I'm saying to you is that on one hand, it's felt that openness and relaxation, that's on the positive side. And then it being too much, the intensity being too much, that's on the not good side.
Okay.
What if it was everything? What if it was everything? Then, uncontrollable, unbelievable, everything. So feeling like this is fucking too much, and just stop, or what if it was everything? You know what I mean? Like because there is only everything. There is only what is. And,
this I get something, like still, like the feeling too much intensity, it still is it still.
Is this,
Okay, but I leave the platform for the next one. For next time. I leave the platform for the next one. At the moment, like maybe this is enough for this time. For this.
Okay.
But I like this kind of speaking and interaction with the thing. Like nobody talks about like this, like there is still this like autonomic nervous system and how it works, reactions and these kind of things. And if I say something like that, then I usually hear just, okay, that's what's happening. Yes, that's what's happening, but could we talk about what's happening?
Yeah, I mean that it's endless, really, because in a way sometimes there's the kind of desire to make certain things real, like, okay, there is a real then outer autonomic nervous system, and that part is real. Do you know? And so but in a way, I think what you're talking about is this happening, and that's the phenomenon. The mystery is endless. We could talk for hours simply about talking, and the sounds and the different intonations and the different accents, the different everything. It's endless, and every inch appears as endless, and yet it's in the naming. It's almost like it's the storytelling is just boundless and unbelievable, like, and yet at the same time, it's just a story.
How about word like integration? Was there time of integration in your story?
You see, there'd have to be obviously someone in there to whom it would integrate for. because then it makes, you know what I mean? It's always, you see, that's the impossibility really, because what we're describing is exactly this, exactly what is, right? And that there is no one in there. But in saying that, you could say, well, in terms of the communication seems to be slightly different and tighter in terms of how I would talk now. Integration, from one perspective, you could say this is constantly being integrated. And then from another perspective, you could say nothing at all. So it's kind of going down into a story, and I don't seem to be able to go down there, because that just seems to be how it is when asked about something like that. Really, it's kind of like you're going into another story then about integration, and that's wonderful for that which is seeking something, because it's the imagination then of, oh God, what the integration period, what will that be like? You know, and I totally understand that's how it is. So it just seems then in the response to that again, what we're talking about is so obviously what is, just because obviously it's such a horrible word really, because it's like you're missing something. It's not that you're missing something, it is appears as, oh, I'm missing something. It is as every inch. So integration periods, that's lovely, in the idea as well of awakening and integrating it and all that.
Somebody used like mean and being, that this kind of period for the body mind, but that is also just the story and narrative in the way.
You see, in a way, there is what's appearing to be described and felt. So if for example, something like meaning and being is what's being described and felt, from this perspective, it just seems like meaning and being is making other things real again. Okay, so then there is a thing called meaning, and then there is a thing called being. And, you know, that kind of then, it's another way to make something real. Oh, there must be that then. There must be, you know, that. And that's, it's again, it's a slight little carrot. But again, there is just what's being described, felt, right? And it can then be felt that whatever is being said is a story. That all there is just this. There's just what's appearing. And then that one, or at least that is what's being described. That's what's coming out of this mouth here, that all there is what's appearing to happen. But then that gives the impression that, okay, he knows that all there is what's appearing to happen. He knows that. But no, all that's being said is there's just what is. That's what's coming out of the mouth. And really what the mouth is, it seems like the sounds coming out of the mouth are a constant return to actually just hearing, the suddenness of sounds, that just this. So that's what it seems like. It goes around, you go around the houses, sometimes delving into a story and then coming back out, and really all there is just the hearing of a voice then. And really nothing is being described. And of course, then in terms of stories about meaning and being, integration, liberation, you know, I'm nearly there, not there. It's the stories. It's just boundless stories for this to be not this.
Yeah, I see that, like, but like for the communication and interaction, some words are being used, but they are still like for the story, like for the storytelling. But I see like some value for this kind of interaction also, even if it goes to the storytelling.
Well, it's just how this now is then. So say there's questions there, and then there's particular types of responses coming back, right? And that's this isness then again. You know, it's as this, as whatever is. It's not apart from, and it just seems as this. There's the conversation apparently somehow appearing that's not about this, it's as this, because this can't be described. How can the hearing of and the saying of this can't be described when it's swimming as everything, as every thought, feeling, every inch?
Yeah, but yeah, I get that, but like,
Yeah, I don't.
yeah, no, I get what like about like, but there is also like this, like it's nice when you get the feeling that you are like somehow this in the same page in the way that you get the feeling that no, okay, this doesn't go better at the moment. I have the feeling. I pass. Next comment.
Okay.
Hey Frank,
Hey Laura.
how are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm okay, thanks. Uh, so I was just hang up on this word as like because you're describing, I like it somehow, this word appearing as whatever, and then there is this, I don't know, like there is this still like something like a very contracted sense of center here that assumes itself to be the perceiver of whatever is going on. It's yeah. Yeah. I've had like
So
sharing.
yeah, so what's your it's describing, it feels like there's someone in there. Is that it? Is that what you're describing?
maybe I'm not so sure if that is even the case. Like, yeah.
You see, if say for example, if there was somebody in the know and somebody in the not know, let's just pretend or play with that, then when what was said there, the response might be, okay, yeah, I can see that there's someone in there, and that, okay, just keep chipping away there, and you might fall away, but there's nothing that can be validated because there is nothing real. So, you know, if what's being described and felt there is felt to be the real, but it sounded like a question and a statement at the same time. You know what I mean? It's almost like, oh, well, then there is someone inside there. Oh, right, okay. Well, if that's what's being described and felt, then, and the story about the perceiver and all of that, then it's kind of, that's what is, though. It's just happening. So whatever was said there, just happening, whatever is felt, that's perfectly, beautifully what is. You know, you can't escape that or the other. There isn't getting away from anywhere. There isn't, this is nowhereness. This is totally inexplicable. So then, of course, whatever is felt then that can be, okay, well, all right, that's how it is then. But it's the same as saying, oh, there's no one in here now, I feel great. All right, okay.
You know what is interesting? I heard you apparently. That there is no urge, apparently no urge in these kind of meetings to even like put something out and say that's like this self-reference thing is not happening there. It is like you don't speak, apparently you don't have the urge to say how it is for you. You just respond the way you respond. It's amazing, but energetically, you don't have the urge to describe yourself. That's what I just right now sensed again. Yeah, that's quite interesting.
Well, you see, in a way, it kind of like, it's almost, you could say the movement is almost like, oh, well, this part is real, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? Oh, I feel this way, that's real, isn't it? And okay, well, that, if whatever is being described, if that's what's felt as real, then that's what's felt as real. In terms of, you know, there's just this, it's so nothing to do, this communications is nothing to do with Frank McCaughey. It's just so evidently, you know, there's a question and the response is zoom, and it's just, and also it's a constant return, it seems like, one way or another, to this inexplicableness that and that's a total mystery also. This is as much of it, this is a total mystery here. You could say, for want of a better way to say it, I'm blown away by this communication constantly, because it's actually nothing is being communicated at all. So then, in other words, when there's a question coming in, it seems like that it's probably more like a mirror almost, because nothing can be validated anywhere without delving into a story of anointment, of kings and queens, of knowers and not knowers, when this is just totally as it appears to be, unfolding, sounding, hearing, whatever. And it's actually then, that's also just a story. So it's this inexplicableness that's not knowable as inexplicableness. It's just the words inexplicable, or the word inexplicableness is used, let's just say. Nothing can be known. And yet then somehow there can be still little grains of movement that goes, oh, well, now I still feel like a person. But sure, look. That's all. It's just what is. You're not doing an inch of this, Zach. And then it's just free to be exactly how it appears to be. God, I feel like a person. Oh, right. I don't feel like a person. Right. Same. It's just a story. And that's the killer, really. Like, there isn't even a thing called not a person. Come on now. That has to be the real. It's constantly almost trying to, you know, catch fish.
When you just said this communication is happening out of nothing, it's, yeah, and then it's like, yeah, something is getting hungry.
That's happening. That's happening out of nothing. But nothing isn't a place. It's just,
yeah.
You can say, or what can be said, or what appears to be being said, is that it's just happening. But then that's just words. It won't make it real then, this. So it's like wind, almost invisible wind, the whole thing appearing to be described as wind. But it won't, you know, it's just, oh, and much ado about nothing. But no, that's the other one, is that there must be always somebody who can gain. Frank has gained. Frank hasn't gained a fucking thing. Frank is a dickhead. Oh, stop.
What means dickhead? I'm so sorry, I don't know.
Oh,
It doesn't sound very kind.
No, it's not very kind. No.
Same as
it's worse than same as asshole. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Mika, it's not the same as asshole. That's very hard.
Okay. Sorry, my English is not
Frank
so
is an
good.
asshole. I know it's up there. In fairness, dickhead and asshole are up there.
My poor
both
English.
of them, both of them are applicable, really. There is no Laura.
It just fascinates me somehow also. Like, interestingly, at one point, it's always pointed out that this has nothing to do with the character. Like, this is not like, and that the there, yeah, that you just said there is no Laura, and then also that Frank, he didn't gain anything, or it was not because of Frank or whatever. Or it is like it has nothing to do with the character, and that fascinates me somehow. Yeah.
Mm. Well, really, you know, this communication has absolutely nothing on offer. You know, really nothing. So normally the way of the world is usefulness. There must be something on offer here that I can get out of this. And then it becomes rapidly obvious that there isn't anything at all. So then, and yet still there is a drawingness to this communication. And that's what I was saying at the very start. That's the kind of resonance you could say, because there's so evidently nothing to do with what, you know, the acquiring thingy-majiggy that seems to just love eating the world and knowledge and getting information and all that. Whereas it's obvious here there's nothing. And so then, though, at the same time, it's free to be exactly how it appears to be, being. And, you know, it's funny, like, there's images like there's no one inside the tree growing the tree. There's no one, you know, in the ground making the grass grow. And there's no one inside the body being and doing anything either. But the world is lost in, you know, we're lost as words. So it appears then that everything can be gained and known and explained, and yet the happening of it can't be explained. Just the sound of that can't be explained. And whatever thoughts then that appear about, but what do you mean, or that can't be explained. It's the happening. It's this, but it won't be known as that. And it's just the words are felt to be real, and that, you know, it can be known. Here, I'm definitely here, and then this is definitely something that I can know apart. But it's just happening, however it appears to be. Everything, not just some parts that are whatever, and some parts, everything, wholly as everything. And not wholly though, but you know what I mean, whole and completely, how it appears to be being. And also you could say that when there is lost in the words, it can be, and lost in the words is just describing, but it's oh, I can understand what that part is. I can't get that part. There's not one part that can be gotten. And so then you can say that's why certain words like this is nothing happening. This is nothing appearing to happen. And that's not very satisfactory for the mind then. Don't give me that one. Give me more of the story. Give me something. Even, you know, there's just what's appearing to happen. That then it feels like, well, I can kind of get, yeah, that's just what's appearing to happen. And that can then be the real anchor. There isn't that then. There isn't even just what's appearing to happen. but it won't, you know, because it won't be known as that. It's just that that's the sort of minimal sentence that avoids the whole jumping down the rabbit hole of story. It's minimal sentences, you know, because every time it feels like, well, some parts must be able to be known. He must know that there's no one. He must know that this is nothing appearing to happen. He must know blah, 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 blah. Sure, no. Nothing is known, like, and that's not known either. And it would be awful if it could be held on to. It would be awful if it had to be remembered. Oh, I had it there a few weeks ago and I lost it. What did you have? You couldn't have had anything. There's just what is. You're already not there, though. And it won't be known then. It's this, however it appears to be.
But it's really nice that somehow Frank is not getting much aggressive towards like the questioner, so to speak, because I was last week with Tony for 4 days, and I would describe him as someone. I mean, he's quite an elderly person, so but I would describe him as quite someone who has like or who can be very like immediately the like any sort of personhood, individual dualism, whatever, when is like immediately cut off. It was quite tough for us, for some. Yeah,
Quite what? What was the word you used?
tough. Like for some people, it was quite tough. Yeah, he would not. For example, right now you are even giving some space for me to talk, and you're apparently listening, and then something would come out. But Tony, he would sometimes not even listen. He would immediately say, bop, 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 bop.
Yeah,
it was very interesting. Yeah,
and I do think that the communication sort of tightens and tightens and tightens if there's continuing to talk. In a way, it is total. It was always ferocious, and it is the open secret, which has nothing to do with Tony, but you could say that there are character elements that come in, and sometimes you could say that he doesn't hear the question, but that's not like you know. There's that the response is just the response, and it's not even kind of not even engaging with any kind of story or
Exactly.
question or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just then how it appears to be. It's of no significance whatsoever, but then you could say it's total love. You know, it's kind of like wanting to make some things better or worse, or there's just how it appears to be, and then there's a gazillion different responses and gazillion different reactions to certain communications.
Yeah, like,
None of them
but
real.
but like I have feeling that some speakers have some radical non-duality speakers have these trigger points that you know beforehand that if I that this will probably trigger some kind of emotion that I already know that what comes out.
Well, you see, I think in certain instances when there's any kind of trying to get in the back door and get to find out is there a way, that is immediately cut down, and I think that's total love, really. And I think anything that talks to someone, you know, like just give me something, I think that's immediately cut down, because there's nothing on offer. And the moment, it is a real fine line between the flavoring, let's just say, of a character and this communication. And this is no one's communication. It's not Tony Parsons, it's not non-duality, it's not the Open Secret, it's not any speaker anywhere. It doesn't belong to anyone. Yes. It's already free.
But if I give like an example, that what is not wise if you come to the meeting, that it's not wise to say that this other speaker say this and this other speaker say that, because that's often, there is often like trigger points that, no, this is completely different thing, that don't mention that other name.
Yes, yeah. And I suppose that's the oil and water, for example.
Yeah.
And I there probably is, you know, who knows? Who knows?
Sometimes they may be even feeling that the speaker doesn't hear the question when like he's like saying no to the different thing, that the question was trying to say something other. So if you are that radical, then there is sometimes even like feeling of dissatisfaction because of the like misunderstanding, that the speaker doesn't listen to the end of the question that was meant to be asked and start to say no to the different kind of thing.
Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, like, this is still a what we are talking about is just this happening, this immediacy, right? And however that appears to be then. And so then it would seem certain, it would seem like that probably impatience, or just not hearing the question, or, you know, presuming that the question is X or Y and not, but in a way, it's so nothing to do with the words, so nothing to do with what's been responded to. You know, it's so nothing to do with understanding, that perhaps that's how it then comes across then, that it's just so no. But then there is character things, you know, I imagine being linked to, well, that's like being in the now or whatever. There would probably be a reaction to that. But it's all interpretation then, really, isn't it? You know, it's all interpretation, yeah. That's reactions that appear to happen then.
Yeah, may I give a second example? Like other thing that is sometimes has been dissatisfying, that when I have sometimes tried to speak about communication itself, that how things are communicated and how things are like understood or misunderstood. So there has also been this kind of misunderstanding. And one, I don't give names, but one guy said that when I asked that he said that it's nothing to do with words, and also said that when his words come out without thinking, like spontaneously, then they are like right. So that sounded to me like authority in the way. But no names, and maybe this
of course, yeah. I mean, you see, okay, my two dogs are kicking off there. What are we talking about here? My dog barking like a little. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds. In YouTube. If something was being explained and there was something to talk about, there would be authority then. There would be the right words to say, and there would be a truth. So then this would be the truth coming out of a mouth. And we're back in the game. We're back in the words. We're back in the we're back. We're back in the game of the knowing and knower, and something being described and something on offer, and that this, what's coming out, and nothing then becomes a place, that these are words coming out of nothing, and they are the truth. Yeah, we're back in the game of knowing. So then you know that there's a thing called the truth. I don't know that there's a thing called the truth or anything at all. You know, what are we talking about? We're talking about the sudden, inexplicable appearance of whatever was said there. We're talking about the sudden inexplicableness of hearing a voice. We're talking about this, and what can be said. Well, whatever appears to be being said sounds, but nothing is being described at all. Nothing isn't a thing at all. Like nothing.
But like sometimes with like radical, if thing is like radical, uncompromising, there might be, somebody might get feeling that there is like authority with it.
Of course. And I think there probably is a bit of that going on, yeah.
Yeah.
There probably is in places, yeah. This is the... See, that's, if there was something being described or something that was known, then that could come across. But then also, you know, it's impossible to say, really. You know, there's no doubt about it that the words can be mimicked, the sounds, you know, but the flavor and the energy can't be. It just simply can't be, because it's so fucking nothing. Nothing like.
Yeah, like I used to like this really hard hitting guys, but at the moment I like this softer flavor. I give credit to you for that.
Oh God! Right, we better end the meeting then. It's fucked then. Yeah. See, nothing isn't a thing that can be had, and the mystery, this just seems to return constantly. But then, you know, if that's how it is, that's how it is. But this is free to be exactly how it appears to be being. So then, if there's those out there, you know, speaking with authority or whatever, I mean, to me, the open secret is absolutely stunning. But you know, and yeah, I think as a communication or as a sharing or whatever you want to call it, it's beautiful. But it's nothing to do with any single word. It would seem then, though, that the communication is kind of sharper from what I've known. It's just kind of more whip-like, we could say. but I think it does sort of change, you know. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm talking about either there. So
Like Open Secret, the book itself had like different editions, and they are like Tony used to like it has been, well, the first edition is different than the like second, third, or there's little bit like when you are communicating, you also like see that okay, this thing is maybe misunderstood if it is said like this, and then you may change it. Like I'm like a veteran with this seeking, like maybe 40 years. Like I used to listen to this like Tony Parsons CDs, and like
you never listen to a tiny thing ever.
No,
you haven't done a tiny inch. You haven't done a tiny inch.
But I like to be the storyteller at the moment. Give me that. I like to have this platform now to tell this story, for the seeming story for fun. Like I remember one Tony CD which was like Perfect Lover. Like this was he was using this metaphor for a while, like he like that this is like perfect lover, that it's everywhere, that it's saying hello to you wherever you look and wherever you go and whatever you listen and whatever you are watching. So that was also like yeah, that was one kind of way to try to communicate the uncommunicatable thing, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's as words. So a perfect lover or the beloved or whatever is what is. So what is never left you. It's as every thought, every feeling, everything sought, every image in the mind, every whatever, everything. So if there isn't you though, and what is, and this what is won't be known as a thing apart from you. You know, it's as this, it's as whatever is felt then.
Yes, but what I meant,
go on.
What I meant that was like phase in the like history of the story of Tony Parsons, that he was using this story to, but this was like phase, but that he hasn't used that like afterwards.
Yeah, the words seem to change. Yeah, that's fair to say. Yeah. It's basically, what are we talking about? We're talking about this inexplicable happening. This, the suddenness of saying yes. That's what we're talking about, and we're not. In a way, every single word seems to ping the mind down. Like the perfect lover is beautiful. I loved the beloved. The beloved never left you. I mean, that's just wonderful. But it's kind of, it's flavoring. All it is flavoring of language. And in the flavoring, there's a fine line then, in this fine line of absolutely nothing. And, you know, sometimes it's kind of just, it's flirting with words. So flirting with words like the perfect lover or the beloved are kind of lovely romantic words, but that's all they are, you know. It's this, like this, as enjoying the word perfect lover.
But like a listener, when somebody is listening, he gives easily authority to the words, which is not meant to be like that. No. No, it's difficult to say, but no, okay. I don't say more this time.
You're not saying that.
No, I don't find the right words at the moment, so let it go, let it be.
There isn't Tony Parsons. There isn't The Open Secret. There isn't anything at all. It's all a story. It's not over further away. It's not in the book. It's not coming up in 15 minutes. It's this. Isn't that amazing?
But you sometimes hear that, like Tony Parsons started this whole thing, that they was like nobody was uncompromising, radical enough before Tony. Maybe UG Krishnamurti, but you hear this story also.
But you see, though,
I like to hear this, that there is no Tony Parsons and.
But there is no nothing. Tony Parsons, and there's no Mika. And that, you see, if there was something being described, right, then something would have been found out, and somebody would be doing it. But like, there is no one doing anything, so that's why nothing is being described here, and that has nothing to do then with any kind of image of what you might have of a character, of a person, of a face and glasses and whatever. It's nothing to do. It's just happening. But that can be said about absolutely everything. It's just happening. So there's no Tony Parsons that wrote a book, but a book appeared to be written. There's no Tony Parsons that decided to go and give a meeting, but a meeting appeared to happen. Appears to happen. That's what can then be described. There's no Tony Parsons. There's no anyone at all. There's no. It's always kind of, well, Tony Parsons has it. There isn't a Tony Parsons. There isn't an authority on this. It won't be found. This, but it won't be lost either. It's as what is, and it won't be known. They're just words then. It won't be then known as it is, as what is, or as the sound of a voice, and as hearing. This just seems to be how it is. These just seem to be the words that appear to be being used. And then there's hearing. We'll say that's the naming for this, hearing and sounding, but that doesn't make it then noble as that. So that's why you pick your fingers. Just happening.
Yeah, I don't give name, but one speaker used this, that in your hearing, let there be a hearing, and in your seeing, let there be seeing. But that is also another story.
It's like when you hear somebody saying, it is seen this way. What's seen? This is just happening. It's not like anything is being described from a past experience, a linear event of something that's noble. What, then one part would be noble. And like what speakers say, I have no idea really what's going on with all that. Like, to me, nothing is still the rarest of sounds, and that doesn't make it special, but it's nothing on offer is still the rarest of sounds. Even though there appears to be loads of speakers and loads of whatever, still, no. No Tony Parsons, no Mika, no Kenneth, no anyone. There's no non-duality.
Is there no? There's no.
There's the hearing of there's no. But nothing is real. Not a word will touch this, not a single word, but it appears so fully alive as the hearing of it appears so fully alive. It's immediately this flooding the senses as every thought, I've been into non-duality for 40 years or whatever is being said. It's all just happening. And it won't then suddenly be found, or it won't be held on to. We won't have it, not have it. It's just, so then just happening is pretty good. It's pretty good saying it's just happening. All of this is just happening. But then that can almost come across then as a story of, oh, it's just happening then. All of this is just happening. Nothing. This is nothing then. Including then, what do you mean it's nothing? Of course it's not nothing. I mean, look, there are things, but that's also just happening then. You see, in a way as well, you could say that through stories and the storytelling, the mind just loves something to latch on to, something to hold on, to take away. Sure, this was interesting. I got this, and it's all, it's just ways to somehow get something from nothing. Good luck with that.
Yes, my mind tries to, or the mind tries to like find a safety blanket somehow in it. Yeah.
Then it'd have to be remembered, held
Yeah.
on to, grasped, and then that's the tightness. Oh, fuck, I had it.
It's in a way hilarious.
But you can't do it or not do it.
No.
That's just then what's being described and felt and whatever. How can that then there'd be something you could do about it? Then somebody could say, do you know what, just relax now. It'll be all grand.
Exactly.
All right, well, who the fuck is going to relax? Like, how can you relax or not relax? It's like, it's another form of just surrender. Sure, I don't know how to grow an eyelash, Lord. How do I surrender? Fucking hell. It's all just a dream. It's just an ideas, Surrender. Have I surrendered enough, oh Lord? Come on. Just be with the feelings. Would you fuck off? Just be with the fucking right. Thanks for that. Who's going to be? Can I also be with not wanting to be with the feelings? Can I do that? Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Yeah. All the best.
like for future merchandise article, there is no non-duality and just be with the fuck off.
Just fuck right off. Yeah. So it's games, like it's always games and held positions of authority, held ideas of what this is that then can be shared and explained and given to the very special few. So how can you have what is? How can you hold on to what is? There's just what is. There's just what is appearing, however that is. However, everything, lock, stock, and the butting, everything.
Could we talk about drugs? Or entertain?
Can we talk about drugs?
Yeah.
What do you want? What have you a question about it?
No.
Or-
Yeah. I'm just wondering that could there be some entertaining storytelling about drugs?
If there was a question on
Which-
that, I mean,
which-
there might be a
which-
response, but
Which one to take?
cornflakes.
Okay.
Cornflakes. Take loads of cornflakes and toast and lash on the butter, and then you will be whole and complete. Lash on the butter, thick with butter.
Okay.
A caffeine as well. Yeah, lots of caffeine. In fact, maybe we should. Does anybody like to go and get a coffee? A little coffee break. Speaking of drugs, will we do
Yeah,
maybe?
my cup is empty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
so
suggestion.
fine.
Tea, cup of tea.
A cup of tea. Will we say what?
Which
we'd say-
vitamin B maybe? Caffeine and
Yeah, that's the coffee.
Okay.
Coffee is the one.
okay.
If you put in a tiny bit of milk, then liberation. But don't put too much milk in, then liberation. Oh, Jesus. Okay, will we say maybe 10 minutes, just before 1/4 to maybe? How's that sound?
Just
All
wait
right.
till you put the sugar in.
Oh yeah, make sure. Yeah, that's 3
You'll
spoonfuls.
be enlightened with the sugar.
Yeah, that will make all the difference. I think sugar really is the key. But make sure you take it at 10 you need to take it at a certain time as well, and you need to balance on one foot and
It'll
hold your
clear out-
breath and hold your
it'll
breath.
clear-
Yeah, and you have to
Clear out
have
the
to steer in
chakras.
the right direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That is about trying to spin
That's
yourself
very
around. Then,
important.
yeah, then you'll be whole and complete. Definitely. All right. Okay, we'll see you